Kim Yoo-Jung's darkest role exposed the rebel you never knew. Imagine a high school hallway where whispers turn into weapons, and a single act of kindness ignites a firestorm that could either forge unbreakable bonds or shatter lives forever. What if the quiet girl enduring it all held the key to unraveling an entire empire of shadows? In the electrifying world of 2015's Angry Mom, Kim Yoo-Jung's portrayal of Oh-Ah-ran isn't just a role. It's a revelation, a raw glimpse into the soul of a teenager teetering on the edge of despair, and it pulls you in with the unrelenting force of a storm you never saw coming. As we delve into this forgotten gem of her early career, we uncover not merely the mechanics of a performance, but the profound alchemy of vulnerability and defiance that marked Yoo-Jung's first foray into portraying unfiltered rebellion. Born on September 22, 1999, in Seoul, South Korea, Yoo-Jung had already etched her name into the hearts of audiences as a child prodigy, debuting at age 4 in a confectionery ad and swiftly becoming one of the nation's most sought-after young talents. By the time she stepped into Angry Mom, she was just 15, yet her eyes carried the weight of worlds unseen, a depth that made you forget her youth entirely. Watching her navigate Ah-ran's labyrinth of emotions feels like peering through a cracked window into adolescence's underbelly. Heart-wrenching, because it mirrors those universal moments when silence screams loudest, and you can't help but ache for the girl who smiles through bruises, both literal and invisible. The journey of Oh-Ah-ran begins in the suffocating confines of Myungsung High School, a microcosm of societal fractures where ambition masquerades as education and power preys on the powerless. Ah-ran, a diligent student with dreams as modest as they are fervent, perhaps excelling in literature or harboring a secret passion for sketching forgotten corners of the city, enters the narrative as the epitome of quiet resilience. She's the girl who ties her hair back with a simple ribbon, her uniform impeccably pressed, not out of vanity, but as armor against the chaos of her home life. Raised under the shadow of a fabricated family history, passed off as the child of Kang Ja's deceased sister to shield her from the stigma of illegitimacy, Ah-ran grapples with a mother-daughter bond that's more frayed thread than woven tapestry. Jo Kang-ja, played with ferocious tenderness by Kim Hee-sun, embodies the archetypal Ajuma, foul-mouthed, street-smart, and unapologetically unpolished, a far cry from the poised figures Ah-ran idolizes in her textbooks. Their interactions in the early episodes are laced with unspoken resentments. Ah-ran averts her gaze during Kang Ja's boisterous laughter at the dinner table, her cheeks flushing with the embarrassment of a daughter who wishes her mother could blend into the wallpaper. It's a portrayal that Yoo-Jung infuses with such subtle restraint, fingers twisting the hem of her skirt, a fleeting glance that lingers just a beat too long, that you feel the chasm between them like a physical ache, a reminder of how often we judge those closest to us through the lens of our insecurities. Personally, these scenes stir a nostalgic pang, evoking memories of my own teenage rebellions against parental quirks, making Ah-ran's quiet judgments feel achingly relatable, as if Yoo-Jung had borrowed from our own hidden diaries to craft her. But it's Ah-ran's fateful decision to extend a hand to Jin Yi-kyung, the school's ostracized outcast, that catapults her from observer to victim, transforming her world into a battlefield of veiled threats and overt cruelties. Yi-kyung, portrayed with haunting fragility by Yoon Ye-ju, is a spectral figure. Rumors swirl around her like smoke, branding her as everything from promiscuous to cursed, her isolation a cautionary tale etched into the lockers and whispers of the corridors. In one pivotal scene, Ah-ran shares her lunch with Yi-kyung during a rain-soaked recess, their shoulders brushing under a shared umbrella, a gesture so small yet seismic in its implications. The bullies, led by the cunning Wang Jung-hee and her cadre of enforcers, seize on this alliance like vultures spotting vulnerability. What follows is a harrowing descent, lockers vandalized with slurs that cut deeper than knives, anonymous texts that arrive like midnight intruders, escalating to physical assaults that leave Ah-ran crumpled in bathroom stalls, her breaths ragged and uneven. Yoo-Jung captures this erosion with a master's precision. Her body language shifts from open postures to a defensive hunch, shoulders curving inward as if to shield a fracturing heart. The camera lingers on her face during these moments, eyes wide with terror, yet flickering with the spark of defiance that hints at the rebel simmering beneath. It's mesmerizing, this slow unraveling. You sense the psychological toll in the way her laughter fades to echoes, her once bright gaze dulling like a flame starved of oxygen. Reflecting on it now, there's a profound sadness in how authentically Yoo-Jung embodies this phase, evoking a visceral empathy that lingers long after the credits, as if she'd channeled not just Aran's pain, but the collective scars of every bullied soul who's ever felt the world conspire against them. To expand on the broader context, Angry Mom draws from real-world epidemics in South Korean schools, where bullying, known as ijime in broader Asian discourse, claims victims at alarming rates. Statistics from the Korean Ministry of Education in 2015 reported over 30,000 cases annually, a number that underscores the drama's timeliness. Yoo-Jung's preparation reportedly involved shadowing counselors and speaking with survivors, lending her performance an authenticity that elevates it beyond fiction, turning Aran's plight into a mirror for societal reckoning. As the narrative unfurls, Aran's transformation from passive sufferer to a beacon of quiet resistance becomes the emotional core, a metamorphosis that Yoo-Jung navigates with the grace of a dancer stepping through fire. The turning point arrives when Kang-ja, oblivious to the full horror but sensing her daughter's unraveling like a mother hen to a wounded chick, enrolls undercover as Jo Bang-wol, a transfer student with a backstory as fabricated as her school ID. Their worlds collide in unexpected ways, Bang-wol's brash antics in class drawing Aran's wary eye, their shared glances in the hallway charged with unspoken recognition. Yoo-Jung excels here in layering Aran's growing suspicion with tentative hope. In a standout episode, she confronts Bang-wol after witnessing a scuffle, her voice trembling not with fear but with the first stirrings of alliance. Why do you act like you don't care when everything inside screams otherwise? It's a line delivered with such raw intensity, lips quivering, fists clenched at her sides, that it pierces the screen, forcing you to lean forward, breath held. This evolution mirrors the drama's thematic heartbeat, the cyclical nature of trauma, where the bullied become bulwarks, and mothers unearth their buried strengths. Ahran's psychological arc deepens as she uncovers layers of school corruption, the predatory advances of Administrator Do Jung-woo on vulnerable students like Yi-kyung, the chairman Hong Sang-bok's iron grip on the institution, weaving personal vendettas into a web of municipal graft. In these revelations, Yoo-Jung toggles masterfully between fragility and ferocity. One moment, she's whispering confessions to her diary under the cover of night, tears tracing silent paths down her cheeks, embodying the isolation that gnaws at the psyche like acid. The next, she's standing toe-to-toe with Sang-tae, the chairman's conflicted son played by B1A4's Baro, her voice steady as she challenges his complicity. If you let this poison spread, you're no better than the monsters feeding it. That outburst, eyes blazing, chest heaving, marks the explosion of pent-up rage, a cathartic release that feels earned, visceral, like the first gasp after submersion. It's this duality that cements the role as a milestone. Yoo-Jung doesn't just act weakness and eruption, she inhabits them. Her micro-expressions a lexicon of inner turmoil, from the subtle twitch of her jaw in suppressed fury to the softening of her gaze in fleeting vulnerability. Watching it, I couldn't shake a profound admiration, almost maternal in its warmth, for how she makes Aran's growth feel organic, not scripted. A testament to an actress who, at such a tender age, already understood the alchemy of pain into power. Delving deeper into the psyche of Aran reveals a character whose weaknesses are not flaws, but fractures in a facade, meticulously crafted by writer Kim Ban-di to expose the fragility beneath teen bravado. Early on, Aran's silence isn't cowardice but a survival mechanism, honed by years of navigating Kang-ja's chaotic love. A mother who hawks street food with a laugh that booms like thunder, oblivious to the social minefields her daughter treads. Yoo-Jung portrays this internal schism with heartbreaking nuance. In family scenes, her smiles are performative, lips curving upward while her eyes dart away, betraying the shame of a girl who craves normalcy amid the unconventional. Psychologically, it's a masterclass in repression. Aran's outbursts are rare, explosive when they come, like the dam breaking after relentless pressure, screaming at Kang-ja after a particularly brutal beating, words tumbling out in a torrent of, "Why can't you just be like everyone else's mom?" The rawness here, the way Yoo-Jung's voice cracks on the final syllable, captures the essence of adolescent angst amplified by abuse, drawing parallels to real therapeutic concepts like complex PTSD, where victims oscillate between withdrawal and hypervigilance. Yet, it's in these eruptions that her strength ignites, as alliances form with unlikely figures. The brooding Go-bok Dong, a delinquent with a hidden moral compass played by Ji-soo, or the idealistic teacher Park No-ah, Ji Hyun-woo, whose naivety mirrors her own initial innocence. Yoo-Jung allows Aran to bloom. A key scene unfolds in the school's abandoned rooftop, where Aran, bandaged but unbowed, rallies her makeshift crew against the bullies. Her posture straightens, voice gaining timbre, transforming from whisper to war cry. This shift isn't abrupt, but a crescendo, built on stolen moments of solidarity, like sharing earbuds with Sangtae during a tense stakeout, their fingers brushing in a spark of tentative trust. The chemistry between Yoo-Jung and Baro crackles with unspoken potential, his character's redemption arc intertwined with hers, adding romantic undercurrents that feel earned rather than obligatory. Emotionally, these sequences resonate on a personal level, stirring a fierce protectiveness. I've revisited them during my own bouts of self-doubt, finding solace in Aran's reminder that vulnerability isn't defeat, but the prelude to unyielding resolve. To enrich this analysis, consider the production's deliberate nods to Korean cultural pressures, the hyper-competitive Gaokao-like Suneung exams looming over the plot, where bullying thrives in the cracks of academic stress. Director Choi Byung-gil's choice of dim, claustrophobic lighting in bullying scenes amplifies Aran's psychological descent, contrasting with the brighter, open frames of her empowerment, a visual metaphor for emerging from darkness that Yoo-Jung amplifies through her luminous presence. What elevates this role to the status of a silent stepping stone in Yoo-Jung's artistic maturation is its unassuming brilliance, a bridge from the ethereal child roles that crowned her the Saguk fairy to the multifaceted leads that would define her adulthood. Prior to Angry Mom, Yoo-Jung had enchanted audiences as the young Hung-soo in Dong Yi, 2010, her porcelain features and poised diction earning her the moniker for historical dramas like Moon Embracing the Sun, 2012, where she embodied innocence amid palace intrigue. Those portrayals were luminous but limited, often confined to the wide-eyed wonder of youth. Aran, however, demanded grit, the smudged mascara after a breakdown, the defiant tilt of her chin during interrogations by corrupt faculty. At 15, Yoo-Jung was shedding the nation's little sister label, a transition fraught with industry pitfalls. Child stars often fade or falter under the weight of premature exposure. Yet in Angry Mom, she found fertile ground. The drama's screenplay, which clinched the Excellence Award at MBC's 2014 script contest, provided a canvas for complexity without overshadowing her co-stars. Kim Hee-sun's Kangja dominates with her dual-layered ferocity, mother by day, faux teen vigilante by night, but Yoo-Jung holds her own, their evolving rapport a dance of mirrors, each reflecting the other's unspoken wounds. Behind the scenes, anecdotes reveal Yoo-Jung's dedication. She endured grueling night shoots in Busan's chilly springs, her slight frame shivering in school uniforms, while perfecting fight choreography that left bruises mirroring Aran's. In interviews post-rap, she shared how immersing in the role unearthed personal reflections on friendship's fragility, a sentiment echoed in fan forums where viewers praised her for humanizing bullying's ripple effects. This performance garnered her the Top 10 Stars Award at the 2015 MBC Drama Awards, a nod not just to talent but to timing, positioning her for Love in the Moonlight, 2016, where she'd leap into romantic leads as the cross-dressing Hong Ra-on, blending rebellion with romance on a grander scale. That Sejuk would catapult her to household name status, but Aran was the unsung rehearsal, honing her ability to fuse emotional depth with physicality. It's poignant, this understated pivot. In an industry that often discards its young stars like yesterday's headlines, Yoo-Jung's choice to embrace Aran's messiness signaled a maturity beyond her years, a quiet declaration that she was ready for roles that demanded she bare her soul, not just her smile. From my vantage, it's inspiring. A young artist claiming agency in a narrative often dictated by adults, reminding us that true growth blooms in the soil of discomfort, much like how Aran's scars become her strength. Layering this with broader strokes, Angry Mom itself emerges as a cultural touchstone, blending high-octane action with incisive social commentary in a way that few K-dramas dared in 2015. Airing on MBC from March 18 to May 7 across 16 episodes, it averaged ratings around 9%, peaking at moments of maternal mayhem that had viewers cheering from their couches. The ensemble shines. Ji Hyun-woo's No-Ah evolves from bumbling idealist to steadfast ally, his chemistry with Kang-ja adding levity amid the grit, while Kim Hee-won's An Dong-chil unravels as a vengeful wildcard whose past ties bind the plot's threads. But it's the mother-daughter axis that anchors the chaos. Yoo-Jung's Aran serving as the emotional fulcrum. Her rebellion isn't solitary, it's communal, drawing in side characters like the quirky Han Gong-ju, Go Soo-hee, whose comic relief punctuates the tension with slapstick solidarity, or the tragic Yi-kyung, whose fate, murdered and framed as suicide, exposes the lethal undercurrents of institutional neglect. Yoo-Jung's interactions with these figures amplify Aran's growth. A heartfelt rooftop confession with Gong-ju, where laughter dissolves into shared tears, showcases her versatility, shifting from stoic to sisterly in a heartbeat. Critically, the drama sparked dialogues on education reform, with outlets like the Korea Herald lauding its unflinching gaze at Wangta, group ostracism, and teacher misconduct, issues that persist today. By 2025, reports indicate a 15% rise in school violence amid post-pandemic isolation. Yoo-Jung's role, often overshadowed by Hee-sun's tour de force, was a sleeper hit among peers. Co-star Barrow later credited her with pulling real emotion from his scenes, their budding romance subplot, stolen glances in the library, a hesitant handhold during a midnight escape, adding a tender counterpoint to the fury. In fan communities on platforms like My Drama List, threads brim with awe. Yoo-Jung's cry scenes gutted me. It's like she bottled every unfair moment and unleashed it. This resonance underscores why Ahran lingers as a forgotten triumph. Not flashy, but foundational, paving Yoo-Jung's path to accolades in 20th Century Girl, 2022, where she'd revisit teen vulnerability with wistful nostalgia, or My Demon, 2023-2024, blending fantasy with fierce independence. Reflecting on it, there's a quiet thrill in rediscovering such performances. They whisper that stardom's true magic lies not in spotlights, but in the shadows where characters like Aran teach us to fight not just for survival, but for the light we deserve. Extending this exploration, one can't ignore how Yoo-Jung's immersion in Aran echoed her own burgeoning autonomy, a meta layer that enriches every frame. At the time, she was juggling the drama with hosting duties on Inkigayo, her bubbly MC persona, a stark contrast to Aran's brooding intensity. Yet both revealed a chameleon-like adaptability. In a 2015 Alk-Pop interview, she mused, "Playing Aran taught me that weakness isn't the opposite of strength. It's the soil it grows from." A philosophy that permeates her career trajectory. Post Angry Mom, her choices grew bolder. The historical whimsy of Moonlight Drawn by Clouds, where she sparred verbally with Park Bo-gum's Crown Prince, demanded a lighter touch but built on Aran's emotional scaffolding. The role's silent status stems from its sandwiched position, preceding her breakout romance, following Sejuk's that typecast her as demure. Yet it was pivotal in proving her range. Directors like Jong Tae-yoo, who later reunited with her in Lovers of the Red Sky in 2021, cited Angry Mom as the spark. She brought fire to fragility, turning victims into victors. Psychologically, Aran's arc aligns with resilience theories from experts like Angela Duckworth, where grit emerges from adversity's forge. Yoo-Jung's depiction, from cowering in shadows to charging into fray, embodies this, her bated breaths in confrontation scenes syncing with the audience's pulse. It's exhilarating, this journey, evoking a sense of triumphant camaraderie. As Aran links arms with Bang-wol for the final stand against corruption, you feel the rush of collective empowerment, a balm for anyone who's ever felt small against systemic giants. To contextualize further, the drama's legacy endures in spin-off discussions and remakes whispers. Its OST tracks like Angry Mom, by various artists still evoking chills on playlists. Yoo-Jung's evolution since, from the painterly grace of Hong Chun-gi to the demonic deals in My Demon, traces back to Aran's blueprint, a testament to how one forgotten role can quietly redefine a legacy. In weaving Aran's tapestry, Yoo-Jung also illuminated the drama's satirical edge, poking at the absurdities of Korean hierarchy with a scalpel's precision. Scenes of faculty indifference, principals sipping tea while students bleed, mirror real scandals like the 2014 Seoul ferry aftermath, where institutional failures amplified public outrage. Aran's rebellion, sparked by Yi-kyung's demise, evolves into investigative fervor. She pores over hidden ledgers in the dead of night, her flashlight beam cutting through darkness like resolve through doubt. Yoo-Jung's intensity here, furrowed brow, whispered deductions, transforms her from reactive to proactive, a shift that culminates in the explosive finale, where truths tumble like dominoes, toppling empires built on lies. The emotional payoff is immense. Mother and daughter, once divided, unite in a tear-streaked embrace amid rubble, their forgiveness a quiet roar. It's cathartic, leaving you with a swell of hope tempered by realism. In my rewatches, this resolution never fails to misty my eyes, a poignant nod to healing's hard-won grace. Bolstering this, production trivia reveals improvisations. Yoo-Jung suggested Aran's diary entries, adding personal lore that deepened her psyche, from doodles of escaped birds symbolizing freedom to pressed flowers from Yi-kyung's grave, tokens of undying loyalty. Such details elevate the narrative, making Aran not just a victim, but a chronicler of quiet revolutions. As we reflect on this chapter in Yoo-Jung's Odyssey, it's clear. Angry Mom wasn't mere stepping stone, but a forge, tempering her into the versatile force she is today, inspiring us to embrace our inner rebels, one defiant step at a time. Yet, to fully appreciate Aran's Odyssey, we must trace the interpersonal webs that ensnare and liberate her, each thread spun with Yoo-Jung's empathetic finesse. Her bond with Sang-tae, for instance, simmers from antagonism to alliance, his initial taunts, "Stay out of the ring, princess," giving way to protective gestures like shielding her from a hurled textbook. Their chemistry, understated yet electric, blooms in stolen moments. A shared cigarette in the shadows, her first coughing delicately, confessions under starless skies about parental pressures that bind like chains. Barrow's portrayal complements Yoo-Jung's, his softening edges mirroring hers, culminating in a kiss that's more promise than passion. Tentative lips, racing hearts, a subplot that fans dissected for months on X, formerly Twitter, with threads praising how it humanized privileged prisoners. Similarly, her rapport with Bokdong injects levity. His gruff mentorship, teaching her self-defense with mock punches, evolves into brotherly fierce, Yoo-Jung's laughter ringing true as Aran lands her first hit, a metaphor for reclaiming agency. These dynamics underscore the drama's message. Rebellion thrives in community, not isolation. Psychologically, Aran's progression from solitude to solidarity echoes attachment theory, where secure bonds mend insecure foundations. Yoo-Jung conveys this through tactile cues, hesitant hugs that linger, eyes locking in silent vows, drawing viewers into the intimacy. It's profoundly moving, stirring reflections on my own alliances forged in fire, how they've armored me against life's bullies. Expanding horizons, Angry Mom influenced subsequent works like School 2017, which echoed its anti-bullying crusade, while Yoo-Jung's post-roll surge, netting endorsements from Lotte to fashion houses, affirmed her marketability. In 2025, with hindsight, Aran stands as a beacon, proof that from forgotten roles rise unforgettable icons, urging us to unearth our own hidden strengths. As Aran's flame flickers brighter, so does the drama's critique of power's perversions, with Yoo-Jung at its searing center. The exposure of Do Jung-woo's predations, his grooming masked as guidance, thrusts Aran into moral crucibles, forcing confrontations that test her mettle. In a gut-wrenching sequence, she testifies against him, voice steady despite trembling hands, her gaze boring into his feigned remorse like a blade. Yoo-Jung's restraint here is genius. No histrionics, just unyielding truth that amplifies the scene's impact, echoing survivor testimonies in Korean courts that year, where Docker Me Too precursors gained traction. This role's thrust into rebellion marks Yoo-Jung's departure from passivity. Unlike her earlier ingenues, Aran wields words as weapons, rallying peers in assemblies turned battlegrounds. The ensemble's synergy peaks in these clashes. Heesun's Kangja charging like a bull, Yoo-Jung's Aran the strategist plotting from flanks, Their synergy a maternal echo of Aran's internal evolution. Emotionally, it's exhilarating, a rush akin to witnessing a phoenix's rise, leaving you empowered yet contemplative. To deepen, behind-the-scenes reels show Yoo-Jung mentoring younger extras on emotional recall, her poise belying the role's toll, nightmares of bullying scenes, she later admitted, but channeled into authenticity. This dedication propelled her to Clean with Passion for Now, 2018, where she'd infuse rom-coms with dramatic depth, proving Aran's legacy as a versatile vanguard. In retrospect, it's a role that whispers resilience's anthem, from bullied to bulwark, one heart at a time. Finally, Aran's culmination isn't triumph alone but transformation, a denouement where Yoo-Jung seals her as eternal underdog turned overcomer. As corrupt veils tear, Aran stands amid the fallout, school reformed, bonds reforged, her smile no longer shadowed but sunlit, a quiet victory etched in scars worn like badges. This arc, from fragility's fold to rebellion's roar, positions Angry Mom as the unsung prelude to Yoo-Jung's renaissance, a performance that, though eclipsed by later glories, burns brightest in memory. It's a narrative that lingers, inspiring us to question our silences, embrace our furies, and remember, in every forgotten fight lies the spark of forever change.